Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to Platicast, an audio collage that's as processy, creative, intuitive, and messy as its creators. As queer Chicana traviesas, we're here to reclaim our voices, our process, and our coyote medicine, and we invite you to step out of the realm of the ordinary and take a deep dive into the mystery of what wants to be. Hello, Podcastlandia. This is Marta. As many of you know, the Sandman series is now on Netflix. It premiered yesterday, Friday, August 5th, and I've invited a special guest, Jeff Freels, along to discuss the series. Whenever Jeff and I watch a series together, we usually watch them 2 episodes at a time, and so that's what we'll be doing for this podcast. Today's episode is a short one with introductions and a little bit of backstory, so hope you enjoy, and here we go. So yeah, part of the reason for doing this, I think, is that we watch a lot of documentaries together and series and things like that, and usually, we'll lay in bed in the dark talking about, kind of debriefing what we saw, right? And then morning comes, and then there's like some residual thoughts, right? Of what we had seen. And so I thought, this is something that you do have history with. The Sandman episodes or series or comics is something you have history with. And I know that you are also a big Neil Gaiman fan in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's why, I thought it would be interesting to kind of look at this series that is out now and hear from it from the vantage point of somebody who has history with it and somebody who does not have any background with it whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's a neat combination.
Do you remember what year it came out?
I do not. We should Google that.
Google it. Google it.
What year did the Sandman comics come out?
According to GQ, comic books don't come much more acclaimed than Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. The original series ran for 75 issues between 1989 and 1996, landed on the New York Times bestseller list, and is still widely regarded as one of the greatest works ever published in the medium.
89.
Wow, that's quite a... What'd she say? The greatest... One of the greatest... one of the greatest works ever published in the medium. That's fucking amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I hadn't read the comics, and I chose not to read them before this came out because I want to watch it with fresh eyes, with extremely minimal history or knowledge of this, right? 89, I remember going into the comic store, the local comic shop, and seeing it there, seeing the Sandman series there. And I remember thinking, this is something I should like. This is absolutely up my alley, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I was really just fully into the Love and Rockets series, and, didn't have very much money at the time, so
Mm-hmm.
so that's where all my comic money went, was in the Hernandez issues. But I really remember looking at it and flipping through it and going like, this is something I should be reading, right? This is everything I like. And then I never, in the future, just never picked it up again.
Yeah, and that's why, yeah, money, and the fact that I didn't like the original artist. I mean, I thought it was okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't gonna like put down the money that I really didn't have, because I already had, like I told you, I had a stack of comics,
Mm-hmm.
and I put that one in my hand. Like his cat said, that one's really great.
Right.
That one's really awesome. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, then a couple issues later, then I was like, oh shit, I gotta get it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were impossible to find. Yeah, it's hard when you got your couple that you have to continue, and then you're like, it's hard to pick up a new one.
Yes. Oh no, it is, right?
The Crow was like that for me. I picked up one issue and I read it and I was like, oh fuck, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I was just like all fucked up and like waiting for the next issue to come out. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that was just a random thing I picked up because it looked really gothy, and I thought, oh,
Yeah.
that's different. Okay. So like that was twist your heart and mind around.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like when you get into a certain, comic and the storyline is really gripping you, it's like you have to see the next issue, right?
Yeah, you're invested.
Yeah, and that's in my case, that's where all my money, my extra money was going into that, because especially if you're coming in not from the beginning, so you read the few that you've got and you're like, oh god, now I have to go find the other back issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it could take a while. And I remember thinking, like, later I'll read Sandman later, like in the future when I have money or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like that with a few of them, but yeah, time just went by, and so here we are. And there's a whole I think the collection you have, it's like, what did you say they were? They're not the single issues.
The trade paperbacks?
The trade paperbacks, yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to, like, yeah, I had the original comics and those are all packed away. But if you actually want to read them, it's easier to have the trade paperback because you've got one whole story arc in one volume.
Yeah.
And I want the comics to remain in good condition. The trade paperback is meant to be shared and given away.
Right.
Like that,
yes.
that's my take. But those are the reader copies, not the prestige copies.
So not only is it your history with the series and your love of Neil Gaiman in general, but you are also an artist, a storyteller, and you've created comics as well. Is that right?
I'm a cartoonist and a writer, and I worked in comic book stores, and I was reading The Sandman when it came out, and so yeah, I'm familiar with the series. It's been years since I've read it, and I'm really excited to see where this is going and what it'll be like to get reacquainted with these characters. Really excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think there's just something really exciting and beautiful about that. Being able to revisit characters from 33 years ago.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason that I didn't brush up on any of the characters, because I was really tempted to, but I wanted to just see what this telling of it would bring back to me. It'd be fun to just see these old characters like come walking across the screen and see what that's like. So yeah, I think it's really cool. Like you said, you were, your comics path was because of money. You were dedicated to the Hernandez brothers. That was your thing that you were doing, and you thought about Sandman. You wanted to, but we can only buy so many comics at a time. And so I think it's exciting to me when people get turned on by new things. And so I'm really excited to see what you get out of this telling.
Yeah.
This being your first real exposure to these characters. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really cool to see what your fresh take on it is versus my, seeing old friends.
Right. And I think it'll be interesting to see how these actors portray these characters, and if they feel like quote unquote accurate to you. Because I think every person who reads a story or reads, a comic, each person has their own interpretation of that character, right? Of voice, of sound, and and a really good writer will be able to create a character that is consistent amongst many people, right?
Yeah.
But there is, I think, a splash of individual lenses too that can take place. And so it'll be really interesting to get, I think, to get your opinion on how well do these actors interpret or portray these characters.
Yeah, like when I was reading the series originally, I did not imagine the Corinthian as Woody Harrelson. And apparently the actor here decided Woody Harrelson is the way to go.
Woody Harrelson, I hadn't thought about that.
He's Woody Harrelson. That's who is portraying
Uh-huh.
the Corinthian. I don't know what the actor's name is, but he's definitely doing his best Woody Harrelson impression, and he's doing a wonderful Woody Harrelson.
Which Woody Harrelson? Not Woody Harrelson. Not Woody Harrelson from Cheers, but which one are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking, what was the
Natural Born Killers.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not the impression I had when I originally read the Corinthian, but it fits. I can see that fitting really well.
Thank you for listening. In our next episode, Jeff and I will discuss episode 1 of the Sandman series on Netflix. If you'd like to check out Jeff's work, you can find him at jeffworks.com. That's JEFFWERX.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, head on over to our channel on Anchor, and you can find us there under Platicast. That's PLATICAST, and click the message icon. You can also find the voicemail link in our show notes.
Thanks for listening, and we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or if you'd like to share your thoughts, hop on over to our website at platicast.com. That's PLATICAST.com. Or send us an email, platicast@gmail.com.